Alrighty, hello, we are live. And of course, yeah, let's maybe not have my playback monitor going while we start the stream up. Game. Okay, something is feeding back. Testing, testing, testing. Where is the feedback coming? Let's see. Open volume mixer. That should do the trick. Nope. That doesn't. Ah, there we go. I see where it's coming from. Silly me. Let me go ahead and fix that. Found it. Okie dokie. That's doing better. Oops. Do bum bum bo. That is one less thing to worry about. Oh, what do we grab next? What is... Why, of all things, did Twitch glitch out on me? Twitch is never the one that glitches out. Yeah, okay, just needed a refresh. Whatever. Being silly on me. Yeah, I don't know what's up, but I have just been vibing so much with Geeky Fandub's cover of the Fafnir opening, Shangri-La. It's just so good. Been loving it so much. Oh, okay. Next, let us go to X.com. Da da do da 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 do da 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 do da do da da do do ba da 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 no. Oh ho 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 oh ho 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 oh ho 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 da da do do ba da. Do ba da da do 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 ba bo da bo ba da 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 do wo 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 da da do da 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 do 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 ha 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 ha. Ha ha ho ba ba da 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 do ba da 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 do do. Streaming myself doing some video editing, and then later narrating some hashtag HFY stories. Come in and chill. Not chill. Should. Come in and chill. Should be a nice, relaxing stream. Unless people distract me. Which they sometimes do. And audiobook lovers, pound. Sci-fi, pound. Science fiction. Good enough for me. Da 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 do wee 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 oh da da dee do dee do dee do 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 dee atan da do pa pa da da do ho pa da da do do. What? That's a YouTube live, not a Shorts live. Autumn. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And we can close that video out since we don't need it. Okay. Yeah, let's minimize that, get in here. And we can finally turn off Hubble and we can start getting to work. So yes, here is my backlog calendar. Doesn't look all that filled out, does it? We've got gaming stuff set up. I don't do Sunday releases, so we've got Visions of Mana Monday, Wednesday, Friday for this week and next week. Obviously, already released today's. And we've Tuesday, Thursday, we've got Arusu install for this and next week, and we've got it recorded for the Tuesday of the week after that, for the 22nd. But yeah, I haven't taken care of that. Basically, I'm just waiting for stuff to actually fill out. Got Crush for this Saturday. Don't have any further Crushes after that. But I am waiting for the Willow event to finish, which will be tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll probably still do more narration, but I could theoretically do some Crush to get that stuff out. But yeah, like I said, the goal is 1 month. So, if possible, I would like to get to May 7th, although by the time I get to everything on May 7th done, it'll be a bit later. And yeah, that's when I gotta pay off my credit card. If you notice all the little funny, the little dollar sign that's on all of my end screens, it's pointing to free money stuff. And one thing that I do is I get credit cards with 0% interest. I buy stuff on them, I make minimum payments, and then I keep the money that I would have spent on my credit card inside of a savings account that pays 5.5%. It's like, why should I be taking why should I be giving up free money? I'm gonna borrow whatever I can and earn interest. That's the smart thing to do. Let's go. Mute the phone. Speaking of phones, I think I mentioned this on the stream yesterday, but yeah, phone fell down, hit tile, screen first, completely shattered. Fortunately, I know a good phone repair place. They're like, yeah, we'll get the part overnighted, and then we'll get it fixed by tomorrow. Like, cool. Only cost $170 after tax. Mind you, I could get a basic phone for that much, but yeah, I'd rather not. So yeah, anyway, like I was saying, we got Monday's narration, and that was the finale of Space Crusader. Hooray! We need to get some Troublemakers for Wednesday. We need to get some Catgirls for Friday. For the 14th, we'll be starting a new series, and that series is Fourth Generational Warfare by Atticus Reborn. Should be fun. Doesn't seem particularly long, but it was an amazingly silly story. There's the next part. Let me go ahead and go forward. I'm trying to find where we have the aliens. Here they are. Okay, these are the aliens in Fourth Generational Warfare. I'm going to read you the comments about it first, then you can take a look. Oh, well, that's horrifying. The only good bug's a dead bug. Would you like to know more? Desire to know more intensifies with glorious purpose. I'm from Buenos Aires and I say, kill 'em all! It's a shrimp, my comment. It's a shrimp, with legs, and smaller shrimps for claws. I went back to look at the picture because of that. Thanks, I cackled. That was rough on the eyes. Like that, always wanted a huge insect pet. I often wonder how creatures like that manage the dexterity to create machines capable of spaceflight. Looks like a lobster. Do they taste like lobster? Looks pretty cool. In my head, they looked like person-sized cockroaches standing upright, but that's even better. Okay, that's just what I needed to see before falling asleep. I need the men in black to deal with that now! Great story. What does a Zilpic look like? Hans fetch the Flammenwerfer. Looks yummy boiled in salt water and served with lemon. So, now the big reveal? There you go. Giant shrimp with legs and smaller shrimp for claws. Absolutely horrifying, isn't it? I should probably record that as a short for YouTube. I haven't put out any shorts in ages. And plus, we all like shorts. They're comfy and easy to wear. Oh, okay. Let me just quickly do chat test. Perfect. That's exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that is exactly what we want to see. I'll pull up Hubble, and that gets us a background so we can confirm. Yes, there is in fact 5. All right. Enough chatting. Let's get to work. Crush streams. Nope. Shotcut projects and narrations. Farmwhich. And the name is Teaching Catgirls How to Safely Handle Explosives. Teaching Catgirls how to safely handle explosives. And definitely do not want automatic resolution. That is a great way to run into problems because they default at 1080p 50 FPS instead of 60 FPS. It's a real problem. 1080p 60, perfect. Open. Not streams, narrations. Let's get Hubble. Boom. IU open. And we need to go to One Shots, Farmwhich, teaching Catgirls how to safely handle explosives. Let's get audio. Drop it in there, and let's get all 20 screenshots. And drop them there. Hello, James. We were promised Catgirls, and you shall receive Catgirls. We are doing, Do you not see Catgirls? Are you not amused, James? Let me get my, earbuds plugged in here. Problem with earbuds, the cable's too short. Anyway, James, how are you doing? I mean, aside from feeling like you were robbed because no Catgirls, but there literally are Catgirls, so that may be how you feel, but you objectively feel incorrect. Yes. Let's just quickly the class stood. There we go. It is properly calibrated. Let me go ahead and size. I know I complained about it, but we want size to actually just default to 90. That would be so cool. Honestly, people losing their shit over tariffs is far more amusing right now. Yeah. No, definitely not 990. 90 is sufficient. Oh, yeah, that's a big one. That might have been a little bit too much text, but whatever. We'll survive. Yeah, it's like suddenly everyone is an expert on tariffs, all the people that were Twitter experts about other stuff. It's like, whatever. We lived through the pandemic. We know that we can't just be outsourcing all of our production to China. Excuse me. It's pronounced China. China. We cannot export all of our production to China. Even if Tony the homie from LZ Signs is it LZ or LC Signs? I don't remember. He's taken the internet by storm, and he is the best viral marketer out there. Hey, homie, I'm Tony. Dude's a master at accents, at hitting the memes, at everything. Reminded of the old story with the line, "The sky is falling." Seems like a brilliant prediction from the past. Yeah, speaking of brilliant predictions, all the Malthusian predictions, how many people are going to be starving, peak oil, all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, I am an expert in my field, so I hate to like be one of those people that says, the experts are wrong. It's like, when I tell you something about what I know, it's probably right. The problem is that all the experts really seem to not know the shit that they're experts in. Go. So anyway, we're looking, and we'll have about a 26-minute video. Sounds good. Let's hop to it. And anyway, James, as I said, I promised Catgirls. Here are the Catgirls. And maybe we'll even come up with um, some sort of cool thumbnail for them. The class stood cautiously, tails flitting about nervously and ears moving around to catch any odd noise as they waited for instruction from their teachers. Mr. Maru, their slightly insane chemistry teacher, as well as his wife, Mrs. Maru, their slightly crazier English teacher, were very, very carefully handling a number of strange objects and unusual devices, from odd spheres with strange levers to long sticks with bright colors, and some objects that the students recognized as fireworks rockets. Mr. Maru also served as the school substitute gym teacher, so as smart as a tank, but built like a tank. His appearance was always intimidating, but Mrs. Maru was a dainty, sweet creature with a bubbly voice. Some girls idly wondered how these two polar opposites got along well enough to marry. Each girl here had the same body type, human, but with cat ears, a tail, patches of short fluffy fur in places, and stark cat eyes. You would mistake them for cosplayers at a convention if you didn't know the history behind them. This was also one of the first ever all beastkin classes, too. Each girl had a fur pattern, similar to common earth cats like calico, coon, and short hair. Hey, you're not allowed to say that word anymore. But yeah, speaking of coon cats, James, are you familiar with Digimon? There was a Maine Coonmon, which was literally just a Maine Coon cat as a Digimon. I like Digimon, but sometimes they are very uncreative. It's like, what's that? Oh, that's whatever. That's Shellmon. I see a Shellmon because he has a shell. And short hair. Okay then, ladies, welcome to your extracurricular activities class. You'll earn extra credit towards your class grades and also have a bit of fun too. Mr. Maru spoke loudly to the crowd of 25 catgirls, still fresh from the academy and still juniors. Most of the girls perked up, with some of them still terrified of their new hosts, but knew better than to question their teachers. The only non-cat girl in the audience was a dark elven woman who stood quietly nearby, acting as a chaperone for the class, tails nervously wrapped around legs or waistlines, with some girls having their tails intertwined with their friends or trusted partners. They knew their teachers would never willingly put them in danger, but the objects on the table in front of them made them nervous. Before we begin, ladies, everyone, and I mean everyone, has to put these headphones on. These are ear protectors. We made sure to get some made specially for all of you. Now, come on, quickly now, put them on, and do not take them off until we tell you to. Mrs. Maru bellowed, presenting a set of headphones made specially for them. Each student obeyed immediately and put the set of headphones on. The cat ear motif each set had was more than just decoration, as it turned out, and actually fit each girl's ears perfectly. Even the elven woman came over and put on her respective noise protectors, then returned to her position nearby. Today is going to be a short lesson on the identification, use, and safe disposal of explosives, Mrs. Maru said excitedly. The crowd gasped in shock. Explosives? Bombs? Is that what all those objects were? Don't be scared. Everyone has to do this. All the elves, beastmen, and other classmates, especially the other humans, had to do it too. And don't worry, almost everything here is just for show. Now, first question. Who can tell me what an explosive is? Mr. Maru asked. The girls stood nervously for a minute before one student finally raised a hand. It's like a chemical reaction, right? Correct. Not quite as much detail as I wanted, but close enough. An explosive is a chemical reaction which releases a large amount of energy in a short time. This, he said, and picked up an old pineapple-looking object, is called a grenade. And this, he said, picking up a block of wood, is a block of wood. What, if any, is the correlation here? He asked. They all looked at each other. One of the smarter students raised a hand. They all have energy. Cat headphones, huh? Seems a medical engineering job. Yeah. I imagine that it probably goes down to below their chin just for support, and then obviously the headphones cup their ears near the top of their heads. That's just how I'm imagining it. No guarantee that that's what it actually looks like. Yes, well done. It's all the same principle. Wood releases its energy, but it does so very slowly. This grenade releases its energy very, very fast. If you collected a bunch of these logs and made them release their energy very, very fast, you would have a grenade. An explosion is simply a release of energy, same as burning a pile of wood, only very, very fast, he said, alternating between showing off a nearby pile of wood and brandishing the grenade. He used some kind of mechanism that split the grenade in half, showing off its innards. He beckoned the girls to come closer and take a look at its insides, and they did eventually. This is a fragmentation grenade. Looking at its insides, how do you think it works? Fragment? Like, make lots of pieces? Like a window shattering? One girl asked. Correct. The fragmentation grenade has a slightly thicker shell that contains the explosive. The purpose is to shatter the casing so the fragments of the grenade do most of the damage when it explodes. Hence the name frag grenade. Yes, indeed, as nasty as it sounds. Now, observe, Mr. Maru said. No way a cat would stand for in-ear. Oh yeah, no way. No way there are any in-ear headphones. They're getting, cup ear headphones. They get headphones, not earbuds. Now, I mean, even if these kitty cats are cute girls that just have cat features, they definitely don't want stuff inside their ear. He moved to a nearby box and procured another grenade. "Fire in the hole!" he yelled out, and then pulled a pin on the device. With the practiced hand of a football star, he tossed the thing into the sandpit nearby. The explosion was small, but pronounced. The students were not expecting the detonation, and subsequent puff of sand and dust as a result. The crater had become ever so slightly larger as a result, and their cat eyes could clearly see the pockmarked many craters made by the shrapnel. The whole situation suddenly made them all very, very nervous, as ears suddenly lay flat, and tails nervously wrapped around waists. The terror of the situation really overtook them, when they suddenly noticed that the world in front of them had fractured reality, and now had what appeared to be shattered glass on it. "And this," Mr. Morris said as he pointed to the apparent broken glass in front of them, "is why we have a ballistic shield. You genuinely don't have to worry. We aren't stupid. So there, ladies, is your first lesson when it comes to explosives of any kind. From military-grade demolition charges to common household fireworks. Safety is an absolute. That is non-negotiable." Mr. Morrow bellowed, loudly, to make sure everyone heard. "The numbers shall be 3, and 3 shall be the number. 5 is right out." No, as you can see here at the top of the next paragraph, the numbers shall be 4. See? 4. The students just shivered in response and nodded slowly. Mrs. Morrow took the stage now and lifted a sheet off a table. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, what number matches with which letter? C obviously goes with 4, C4. D3, the Mighty Ducks. A1 steak sauce. Oh, I know that's Monty Python. What do you take me for, some sort of barbarian, James? Of course I'm familiar with Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And then they feasted on the blah blah blah, list a bunch of animals and the breakfast cereals and the whatever, and yeah. I wish I could quote it better than I can, but I am very familiar with the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. Thank you very much. Contained various devices, common household works, military C4 charges, and various ancient or current day things like shells, grenades, rockets, and others. All of them were, of course, fake, made of plastic or aluminium, and made into cutaways and cross-sections, so one could see their innards. Some looked less like explosives and more like very big bullets. "Now, a very important question. Why exactly are we here, learning about things that go boom? Why exactly is this exercise a part of your school curriculum?" she asked. The students glanced at each other, still in their defensive postures with ears back and tails wrapped. Eventually, one girl, a tabby named Kimberly, finally spoke up. "Is it like a history lesson or something?" "Well, yes, but more than that, it's for a number of reasons, but the 3 main ones are simple: history, safety, and fun. The history part is simple. We humans, shortly before we encountered your world, were actively engaged in a number of wars, military exercises, weapons tests, and technology tests. As a consequence, we have left a fair bit of unexploded ordnance almost everywhere. This is where the safety part comes in: how to identify certain munitions, and how to make sure when you call authorities you can effectively tell them what they're dealing with. And then and information to fix the problem quickly, safely, and effectively," she calmly explained. Frickin' cough. "Red, no, blue. Ah! What is your name? What is your quest? What is your favorite color?" For a little bit of the stabby lore, favorite color is green. No need to even think about it. If I said either red or blue, I would be thrown off the bridge of doom. All the students collectively made an "oh" of sudden realization, and some even relaxed slightly. Some of them, at least. The prospect of so many bombs lying around scared most girls still. The concept of humans so busily engaged in such dangerous activity more so. But curiosity eventually overcame their caution, and they approached the table to look at all the bombs. Artillery shells, fragmentation bombs, landmines, mining dynamite, boring charges, tank shells, rockets of all types, and commonly used grenades, including my personal favorite, the thermite grenade. Now, looking at this thing, who can tell me how it works? Mrs. Morrow asked her students. She brandished the mock-up variant of a thermite grenade, a large stick with a thick cylindrical head covered in spikes. The girls each took some time to study the device, taking it and examining the cutaway. One girl, a calico named Amari, spoke up. I don't remember what thermite is, but this thing here," she pointed to a ring on the other side of the handle, "is the pin. If I read this correctly, this thing is also magnetic, so it sticks to metal surfaces. So presumably you pull the pin, yeet it when you want to go boom, it sticks, then boom?" NYs, kiddies, frick yeah! Going to learn all about bombs and stuff. Kiddies, frick yeah! Going to be cute and adorable in class. with their custom headphones. No vroom. Things that go boom are fun. I'm convinced at least half the resistance to electric car is lack of cool exhaust sounds. No vroom. Yeah, no vroom, but also no boom, 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 boom on the inside. Just a lot faster than that. Wait, this is literally cats. It is not cats. It is Catgirls, Enweiss. Also, you were just being me. I know you were. Nah, it's Catgirls. But yeah. Anyways, I do want to warn you, you are on Twitch. I have turned the ad rate to silly high. Like, 3 minutes every 8 minutes. So, while I don't mind you sitting there and absorbing all the ads, you may want to switch to either YouTube or, one of the other options, in addition, just so that you can actually see what's going on. And yeah, I know you were just being you. You are very much the kitty person. Add actual links to YouTube on your Discord announcements then. It should be on Discord. Alright, 1 second. I'm gonna turn on the privacy screen. There we go. As the folks were joking on a previous stream, I do use a literal galaxy to hide this. A cat girl with a 6-shot 40mm grenade launcher, kind of like an oversized revolver. Oh my. And ads. I warned you, Enweiss. I warned you about the ads. Discord. Nope, that is not my channel. Oh, right. Yes, it does put stream announcements for my gaming channel, but not for the narration channel, because that's a different one. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm just gonna drop the YouTube link into chat. That's not the YouTube link. This is the YouTube link. Spammed everywhere. Wait, that's not. Huh. Why did it not go to, Rumble or Odyssey? It went to Odyssey, it just didn't get picked up. And Rumble has the problem that sometimes it doesn't hit enter, which is kind of weird. Twitch seems to work. YouTube seems to work. James, I'm a busy man. I'm warning you. I warned you. Lightning strike sound happens. All right, let us go ahead and what's the notifications? Why does that even notify? Warcraft 2. Okay, I am only familiar with Warcraft 3, unfortunately. So, I can't give you... I don't get any Warcraft 2 references. Is that what happens when you click on someone, too often? Like, you click on a magic user and that's the stuff that they yell at you for bugging them too often? Excellent! But not quite boom. Thermite, you see, is a different kind of beast used primarily against tanks or armored targets. That's true. But this doesn't go boom. It goes nut. She replied with a strangely frightening smirk. How? Yeah, it is a complicated but extremely effective chemical reaction. Thermite is a mixture of finely powdered aluminium and iron oxide that produces a very high temperature on combustion, used in welding and for incendiary bombs. Essentially, it's a fire grenade used against tanks. It produces such stupidly high temperatures that it melts through armor plating, a good or lucky throw, and this thing can melt through plating on a tank. Right above the ammo storage. Then comes the boom! Mrs. Mars said with a chuckle. Beep! Several girls said at once, echoing the sentiment of fear. They had no time to consider anything, however. It wasn't continued as Mrs. Maru held aloft a small cannonball. One of the ancient ones. This one, however, the girls were actually familiar with. Considering the world you came from, you probably know what this is. All. This particular unit is an explosive. A hollow shell filled with gunpowder. Yep, keep bothering them, they get testy. What unit is that? Like I said, I assume some sort of a magic user, but obviously I don't know. The students all glanced at each other, and a look of confusion overcame them. Wait, you have cannons? I thought you just had those big laser things, one girl asked. All three adults laughed at that statement. Oh, we have a cannon, a giant starship laser gun. Wait, what? Have a cannon? Bolts laughed at that statement. Oh, we have a cannon? A giant starship laser? Oh, I'll let it slide. I don't need to say, of course we have a cannon. I can say, oh, we have a cannon. It's close enough. I'll accept it. Guns are simply another version of a cannon, only very, very fancy. If given enough time, your world may have developed these guns too, you know? It's all about finding an edge above your competition or opponent. Mrs. Mars said. Think about it. You got a cannon, right? Guy who's using it is like, I wonder how I can make this shoot faster. Then he figures out how to prepackage gunpowder sacks that can just be shoved in. No measuring, no correcting. Sack in, ball in, boom. Then the guy thinks, well, that's good, but how can I make it fire further? This leads to smaller, stronger cannons with longer barrels that hold pressure for slightly longer, and therefore yeet the shell further. It's all just about getting better. Eventually, you would have gone from this to this. Mr. Maru said as he held up a cannonball that artillery shell. One girl raised a hand. How long did it take you to get from cannonball to artillery shell? Also, annoyingly, the Catgirls avoid using too many words that I could have easily nyanified or meowified. So they mostly just talk like this, or like this, or like this. No, several centuries. We were using artillery. The first recorded use of gunpowder mortars was in the 14th century. For reference's sake, it's currently the 25th century. The concept of the shell, the first true explosive shells, were used in the late 17th century, but they became more common in the 19th century, particularly during the Napoleonic Wars, 1803 to 1815. The development of reliable fuses allowed these shells to detonate at the desired moment, increasing their effectiveness. The concept of this big bullet thing, a brass casing plus an explosive tip, arrived roughly around the late 19th century. It came to first full-scale use during the First World War in the 20th century. Mr. Maru said, gesturing to various devices on the table display. One girl, the oldest of the group, who had the fur pattern similar to a Maine Coon, raised her hand. So, does that mean if the cataclysm didn't happen, we would have been able to have those big laser cannon things too? Eventually, yes. Magic doesn't have nearly the same effectiveness in space, so you likely would have had to go a similar route to us. But you don't need to speculate too much, because that is already happening. In any case, on with the lesson. Someone asked about thermite. Would you like a demonstration? Mr. Maru said, again making students uncomfortable with that strange smirk. Would you like a demonstration? It would have been nice if they had perfectly chosen dialogue for cat noises. Yes, just like they do with Niccolo in Visions of Mana, and how he is constantly always referring to how Mew say things and thanking Mew for your business. The students once again nervously glanced at each other. Excellent. Get behind the ballistic glass and stay there. No exceptions. Mr. Maru moved away and retrieved a secure metal box from nearby, as well as a bag of popcorn and 2 empty plant pots. He used a sort of metal pole and hook system, hanging one pot above the other. He filled the top pot with an odd, very fine powdered gray substance, and the bottom pot with popcorn kernels. He also put in the lower pot an odd, brightly colored cylinder of some kind, buried under the popcorn. He messed around with the top part for a bit longer, placing some other things they couldn't identify in the top pot, then lit a fuse. Fire in the hole! He bellowed loudly, then ran for cover as the fuse burned. The fuse hit the powder. Fuse burned. Then ran for cover as the fuse burned. The fuse hit the powder. As the fuse... Okay, what the frickin' hell was that even supposed to be? Oh, okay, fine. We're re-recording. Recent files, Space Crusader, teaching Catgirls how to handle explosives. Okay. Catgirls course, and that's page 3, so let's go to about 30%. Seven. Eight. 9. No, that's... Oh, no, it is there. Okay, I think I grabbed the wrong one. Oh, yes, I did grab the wrong one. That's why I couldn't find it. Yeah, end of page 4. There we go. Are catgirls easily distracted by laser pointers and aquarium fish? Is catnip banned around catgirls? I assume yes to all three of those questions. Right, let's get you over to 10 minutes. No time to consider. Several girls said at once. Considering the world you came from, you probably know. All right, a little further. The students all glanced at each other, and a look of confusion overcame them. Wait. You have cannons? I thought you just had those big laser things. One girl asked. All three adults laughed at that statement. Oh, we have a cannon? Of course we have a cannon. Oh, we have a cannon. Oh, we have a cannon. A giant star. There we go. Winning move. Bring a brush when meeting with a catgirl. Oh, yeah, obviously. Do 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 do. To that statement. Adults laughed at that statement. Of course we have a cannon. Asked. All three adults laughed at that statement. Of course we have a cannon. Giant starship laser guns are simply another version of. All right, good. That's that one taken care of. And the next one was. Oh. I skipped adjusting 13. Better. Fuse hit the powder, and a huge billowing flame suddenly appeared. At each other. Excellent. Get behind the ballistic glass and stay there. No exceptions. Mr. Maru moved away and retrieved a secure metal box from nearby, as well as a bag of popcorn and 2 empty plant pots. He used a sort of metal pole and hoop system, hanging one pot above the other. He filled the top pot with an odd, very fine powdered gray substance, and the bottom pot with popcorn kernels. He also put in the lower pot an odd, brightly colored cylinder of some kind, buried under the popcorn. He messed around with the top part for a bit longer, placing some other things they couldn't identify in the top pot, then lit a fuse. Fire in the hole! He bellowed loudly, then ran for cover as the fuse burned. The fuse... Yeah, as the fuse burned. Alright, that's at 14:30. Let's jump to 14:30. The fuse hit the powder, and a huge billowing flame suddenly appeared, as well as a strange, loud hissing, fizzing noise as the powder caught on. Then lit a fuse. Fire in the hole! He bellowed loudly, then ran for cover as the fuse burned. Okay, how did I just swallow my words? I said that. It just didn't pick it up. He bellowed loudly, then ran for cover as the fuse burned. The fuse hit the... Right, good. Fire in the hole! He bellowed loudly, then ran for cover as the fuse burned. The fuse hit the power. Okay. I wish there was a simpler way of just merging this. Tracks. Flatten tracks, Audacity. Merge tracks, Audacity. All tracks, mix and render. Then lit a fuse. Fire in the hole! He bellowed loudly, then ran for cover as the fuse burned. The fuse hit the powder. Ran for cover as the fuse burned. The fuse... Yeah, okay. Good enough. Let's hope. Save. Save as... Narrations, one shot, Farmwhich. Teaching Catgirls how to safely handle explosives. Teaching girls how to safely handle explosives. CL2. And good. Select all. Effect. Compressor. Effect. Limiter. Fuse, huh? A bit archaic. Then ran for cover as the fuse burned. There we go. That actually, sounds correctly. Save. Export. One shots, Farmwhich, teaching Catgirls how to safely handle explosives. Export. Let that audio render. Oh, oh. Okay, we'll have to jump back to 10:30. But yeah, let's go. Add audio track. Open Catgirls CL2. There, ripple delete and remove track 1. Also, yep, to expand and trim. Perfect. And back to around 10. Oops, way too far. Wait, you have cannons? I thought you just had those big laser things. One girl asked. All 3 adults laughed at that statement. Of course we have a cannon. A giant starship laser gun. Go. Zoom in. Hopefully, I just need to do that once. One girl raised a hand. How long did it take you to get from cannonball to artillery shell? No. Go. Again, making the students uncomfortable with that strange smirk. The student... tiny bit further. That strange smirk. The students once again cover as the fuse burned. Then lit a fuse. Fire in the hole! He bellowed loudly, then ran for cover as the fuse burned. Hooray! We didn't lose a word this time. Uh, yeah, I don't know what happened. Apparently it just recorded, then ran for cover as the fuse. Okay, fine. If it's that egregious of an error, I'm gonna go and re-record.
Fuse hit the powder, and a huge billowing flame suddenly appeared, as well as a strange, loud hissing, fizzing.
I'm glad that I changed my process, because what I used to do is I would save it, and then I would perform the compressor and limiter, and then save after that. Now, I save after doing noise reduction, then I use the compressor and limiter to apply that, and I save as. So I have a pre-effects version, and then I could just add more narration to that as needed. And yeah. So yeah, that's a smart thing to do. It really helps because on one of my narrations of Project Orion, I absolutely messed up on that front. And yeah. Also, how is it already almost 10? Have I seriously been streaming for an hour? Almost. I have been. What the hell?
As the powder caught on fire. Within seconds, the pot was in full blaze. The temperature so hot, so viciously hot, that it was starting to melt the ceramic pot. The smoke from it billowed out, an angry cloud of black and gray, filling the air with the smell of rust. Then the pot burned through. A sudden flow of what appeared to be sparkling, flaming, molten lava came out of the bottom of the top pot. A mixture of spontaneous
noises, along with the stench of burning popcorn, flooded the air. Not there. Split on the top track. Perfect. The mix of smoke became worse.
Longer, as the connection burned. The popcorn mostly just caught fire, but distant popping noises could be heard. Then, the bottom of the pot exploded, spreading popcorn kernels and thermite solution everywhere in a fiery, smoky display of boom. Pieces of burned, popped, or singed popcorn flew everywhere, and pockets of still burning thermite scattered around. The students now realized exactly why the ballistic shield was put there, and they carefully huddled around it. They also now knew exactly why the pots were placed 100 feet away, and why they had to squint a bit to see what was happening. The fizzing and popping eventually stopped, and Mr. Maru walked into the area with a level of caution the girls never knew he had. If he was this careful, then they knew something was up. He stopped, listened a second or two, then hurried back behind glass. He waited for another minute or so, then returned and headed to the pot, still cautious. He looked around, brandishing a small fire extinguisher with him, and smiled as he turned to the crowd, giving a thumbs up.
Right, it's safe. Go on, go there, Mrs. Maru commanded, and directed the students to go where he was. They all gingerly wandered towards him, carefully avoiding the smoldering remains of popcorn and melted metal. They went forward and looked into the pot, as per Mr. Maru's direction. They all gasped in shock. The bottom of the pot wasn't ceramic, but rather some kind of solid metal cylinder was put at the bottom. There was a hole straight through it. The thermite had melted straight through the metal. And this, ladies, is thermite, which is also why you are not allowed to use it or even have any of it without a special pyrotechnics license. Now, you get why the thermite grenade is a piece of banned military equipment. It's rather awful, isn't it? He said. The students all nodded, shivering from the event, and slowly filtered back towards the ballistic glass. Mrs. Maru spoke up. Right, you now have history, you now have safety, now for the most important part, fun! How is any of this fun? One girl squealed. The safe cracking and fireworks, of course! She yelled excitedly. She looked at a tarp covering a large cubic object, and indeed it was a safe. It was an old one, but still in pristine condition. So this is how it works. You girls are going to read this textbook here, Mr. Maru said as he rounded the corner, and handed them a small booklet. And you are going to use the knowledge from it to safely break the door on this safe. Mrs. Maru spoke before anyone could ask why. Why are we going to do this, you ask? Simple. This will teach you how much explosives are dangerous, what explosives to avoid, what not to do, and what to actually do. It will help identify unauthorized devices, among many other things. But most of all, career path, Mrs. Maru said. The girls' ears all perked up at once. They heard the magic word, career. This exercise opens you up to a huge multitude of possible career options. Mixing gunpowder is basically chemistry. That's cosmetics, fuel production, oil refining, toy making, even a track towards my personal favorite, chocolate making. All right, let's not forget the also, it's very good that these are Catgirls and not Puppy Girls. Because if they were, then that chocolate making would definitely be a problem. All right, let's not forget the concept of organization. You make proper measurements and make the mathematical calculations correctly. You'll be fast-tracked to other industries, as math is a critical component of a huge number of industries. Anybody here want to fly a plane one day? Well, this will give you extra credit towards your math score. Math is critical to acquiring a pilot's license, Mr. Maru explained. The girls' eyes sparkled. Suddenly, they understood what all this loud, boomy nonsense was about. And finally, this will give you the chance to learn how to have a bit of stupid fun on your days off, without any risk of blown limbs, scorched fur, or anything. It isn't just a lesson, it's a fun lesson. Now, I don't want your teachers to know, but I put a special surprise in the lockbox that's locked in the safe. There's one for each of you, and if you get the safe open, they're all yours, Mrs. Maru said with a wink. Babe, what have you been up to? Mr. Maru asked, giving his wife a side glance. Don't worry about it, hon. It's all above board. Now, please carry on, Mrs. Maru said, giving her husband a very knowing wink and smile, a combination that all the girls easily recognized from watching interactions between their own parents. Mr. Maru continued with the lesson. The girls read through the textbook, carefully considering everything. They were made to not use calculators, and to turn their phones off, doing the calculations using paper and pencil. One girl, however, had concerns. She raised her hand, a cute British short hair with a pink butterfly pin in her hair. Isn't this kind of illegal? You are teaching us how to break a safe open, after all. I mean, yeah, who wouldn't have loved a safe cracking class? during school.
Nah, this is a 19th century replica. The safes we have these days are so much better than this one. A little boom boom is not going to do much to a modern master key ultralock safe.
A master key ultralock safe? I'm sure you could open a master key ultralock safe by using another master key ultralock safe. Wow, I fumbled that. Let me try again. This is a master key ultralock safe. You can open it using a master key ultralock safe. And now, because I have mentioned something, I shall go ahead and be distracted. This is a master lock. You can open it with a master lock. Come on.
This is the lock-picking low-way shaft interior with much exception. Easy garage okay with this master lock.
There we go.
Open one master lock up by hitting it with another. So what I'm going to do is hit the 500 BRK with this master lock number 3 and see if that's enough to break it open.
Yes, it is. You can use a master lock to open a master lock. All right. Enough borrowing stuff from a lawyer. They're definitely don't want to deal with that if not necessary.
This is carbon steel. Modern safes are military-grade titanium. Besides, availability of explosives and modern crime techniques, you won't have the chance anyway. This is more for fun. Mrs. Marlowe replied. The student shrugged and carried on. Mr. Marlowe answered any questions they had as they carefully inspected the booklet. Mr. Marlowe then handed them a table full of the raw ingredients to make the necessary gunpowder, then made them calculate everything needed to get the mixture correct. Mr. Marlowe had to intervene only once, when too much sulfur was added to the mixture. He removed it and disposed of it properly before allowing them to continue. Eventually, they made the proper mixture needed, and Mrs. Marlowe checked their notes and calculations like she was supposed to. Everything was to standard. Mr. Marlowe then took a
spoonful of the concoction they made and tested it. It was indeed a proper
mixture and ready for use. Mr. Marlowe showed the students how to wrap a measurement of gunpowder and set a fuse to it, to create a grenade of sorts. He was more experienced, so for him it was flawless. The fuses used were also more advanced than previous generations, using a small wire and hand spark generator with a safety catch for the detonator. Mr. Marlowe moved the hefty safe to a safe distance. He was the one who did the arming and placing, rather than any of the students for obvious reasons. Following their instructions to actually place it, their first attempt was to use a piece of duct tape to hold it up by a string, placing the explosive next to a door hinge. Mr. Marlowe took his time and did everything properly. Then once he was secure and everything was done correctly, he double, triple, and again rechecked his setup. Then moved behind the class. He checked the wire and fuse and spark generator. Then, once satisfied, he handed it to one of the girls. Mr. Marlowe, how exactly do you know how to do this? One girl asked. Former SMC Navy bomb squad technician. I was
always a teacher, he said with a smile, and readied the explosive. Usually, the hasp is less sturdy than the lock anyway. Yep.
Okay, how did... Oh, fire in the hole! Then looked at him. Right?
Oh, come on.
The hole!
Then looked at him. Nope, there we go. We're going to be doing a CL3. 2240. So let's go ahead and close that out. File, recent files. Explosives and 2240. Like, that one was just embarrassing. I just completely missed the line. 225, 2230. There. He said with a smile and readied the explosive. He said with a smile and readied the explosive.
Okay, how did... Oh, fire in the hole!
Then looked at him. Yeah. Let's include a quick... Nope. That was a mistake. There we are. Then looked at him. Then she bellowed. Oops. Mute that. She bellowed. Right? see how that ends up looking. Fire in the hole! She bellowed. Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! She bellowed, then looked at him. Fire in the hole! She bellowed, then looked at him. Fire in the hole! She bellowed, then looked at him. Right? Absolutely. Oh, fire in the hole! She bellowed, then looked at him. Fire in the hole! She bellowed, then looked at him. Right? There we go. It's good. Save. Save as. CL3. That's the first time I had to do a CL3. I'm glad I didn't do the of course earlier. So, padlock defeated by hammer. Good to know. Oh yes, you can defeat a padlock with anything. Pretty much anything, at least. Okay, effect once again. Compressor. Apply. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Go. Effect. Limiter. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Fuel. Save and export as CL3. Guess while that's going, I can at least put a definitely not Tregle Talk. Oh, it was just M. I thought it was Shift M for some reason, but it's just M. Oh, that's let me get social stream dashboard. There. Go. That's been saved. So let's delete you. Open CL3. Drop you there and ripple delete. That's better. She bellowed, then looked at him. Right?
Absolutely correct. Well done. Glad to see you're paying attention. He replied with a smile. She followed instructions and released the safety mechanism, then pulled the trigger. A small electrical generator caused an electric current to charge down the wire towards two opposing ends inside the gunpowder charge, completing a circuit. The resulting spark caused the gunpowder to ignite and explode. The bomb made a loud bang, a puff of smoke, and mixed the sound in with the noise of a hollow metallic clang as the safe moved slightly from the detonation. Mr. Maru held a ballistic shield in front of him as he approached the safe,
holding it at an angle as he made his way close. He took a good look at it.
Safe to go? The safe's open. The girls all rushed in and took a look at the safe. The door hinges had been blown open, and the door was barely hanging onto it. Mr. Maru carefully peeled the safe door open and took out the lockbox. He handed it to the victorious students, and they excitedly opened it. For all 25 students, paid for by the school's donors, for each girl was a shopping voucher at a nearby mall for the equivalent of $5.
They all celebrated happily and jumped for joy at the sight. So anyway, James, you're saying that having a brush would be good when visiting, when meeting up with a cat girl, but $500 voucher for the nearby mall would definitely also get her attention. A dud and a visit from Marvin the Martian would be funny. Where's the boom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom! Who doesn't love Marvin the Martian? I mean, anyone living on Earth probably has a problem, seeing how he constantly wants to blow Earth up, but aside from that, he's so adorable. He's like a pyromaniac, just taken to an extreme. Kaboom!
The elven woman from earlier approached and cleared her throat. The noise caused every girl to suddenly snap to attention and look at her. Now, ladies, I know this is something to be excited about, but we made this arrangement only on the condition that you use that money for school supplies, textbooks, and replacement uniforms for school. Once all these items are procured, you'll have roughly $100 to spend on yourself. But please, ladies, school supplies first and foremost. Are we clear? She said. Yes, Headmistress Cleary. The girls all said together. Fantastic. This has been a most enlightening experience. Can I count on you two to take them to the mall on their day off tomorrow? She asked, gesturing to the other two adults.
I'm up for it, he replied. A man wanting to go to the mall? I find that suspicious.
Excellent. Now I'll count you two to clean this up. I'll take these girls back to school and wrap up for the day. Pack on the bus, ladies. Make sure you secure your vouchers properly in your backpacks. I'll put them in a lockbox when we get to school and keep them safe for tomorrow. Off you go then, Mrs. Cleary said, and each girl giggled happily as they all filed into the school bus. This was enlightening. Do you two think this can be done more often for other classes? She asked. It's kind of pricey to do this. Safe and explosives and thermite. But I guess I can see if I can organize the supplies once a month, Mr. Morris said. Maybe I can ask some of my old Navy buddies to help out. Works for me. See you two tomorrow morning, Mrs. Cleary said with a smile, and got on the bus.
There we go. That is that. And let's go. There we go. And let's go ahead and narrations, one-shots, Farmwhich, teaching Catgirls how to safely handle explosives, teaching Catgirls how to safely handle explosives. And while that's rendering, you can watch my CPU blow up. Let me give it a bit more cooling. Remember, always turn your fan up when that's. They're both built and demolished a couple large indoor malls near here. Not enough business. Yeah, I know. It's sad. You know, they do have a mall here. But the movie theater inside the indoor mall is really the thing, kind of the big thing there. So many of the stores have gone belly up. But yeah, I kind of missed that whole, oh yeah, let's hang out at the mall. To be fair, that's more because I was antisocial than anything else. I totally could have caught on there, but yeah, I definitely was kind of like that tail end of people that could have that caught the whole the mall is your hangout spot. To be fair, back before I was in the middle of high school, well, actually now also, but everywhere that I've lived, it was outside of, say, biking distance. So going there before my driver's license would not have been possible. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna run to the bathroom, then go grab some water, and come back. You can watch this thing render, and then we can get to work on editing the next chapter of Troublemakers, and maybe get started on 4th Generational Warfare for Monday. Yeah, I'll see you in a sec. Used to be a good spot for Christmas shopping way back when. Ah, yeah, that is true. You know, all the stores in one place, but now they're also still in one place. Just that one place is Amazon. I mean, I shouldn't be supporting Amazon, but it's like so irresistible. You want something, you get it on Amazon. Free same day shipping, free next day shipping, free 2 days shipping. It's like, it's crazy. Oh yeah, that's... All right. It's good. So yeah, I was dealing with the scammer earlier today. And she claims to be a she, but let's not kid ourselves. It is probably a he, and despite the fact that it is a Canadian number, I am pretty sure that he is working from an Indian call center. Anyway, so he was saying things, before we get started, could I ask your name? And I replied, yes, you could ask my name. A while back, he gets back to me. May I ask your name? Yes, you may ask my name. Finally, he's like, okay, what is your good name? So I'm going to reply with a fake name, and then my next question is going to be, so is Mila your good name, or is it your regular name? If it's your regular name, what is your good name? All right. Enough of that. All right, anyway, James, what did Marvin call his bomb? Something X random number space modulator. I don't know. Is that a setup for a joke, or is that an honest question? Because we can look it up. Marvin the Martian bomb name. Yeah, he commanded the flying saucer X2. Oh, here we go. On numerous occasions, Marvin has tried to destroy the Earth with his Illudium Q-36 explosive space modulator, sometimes pronounced Illudium Pu-36 or Uranium Pu-36. The original reference to Uranium Pu-36 was changed to Illudium Pu-36 in subsequent cartoons. The Pu is a reference to plutonium. Marvin always laboriously overpronounces the name of the device, which resembles a stick of dynamite, in order to avoid any possibility of confusing it with some other similar form of explosive technology. Marvin attempts to destroy the Earth because he reasons, it obstructs my way of Venus. He has been trying to destroy the Earth for more than 2 millennia, suggesting that members of his species, and possibly Martian creatures in general, have an extremely long lifespans. Marvin is consistently foiled by Bugs Bunny. He has battled for space territory, Planet X, with Daffy Duck, aka Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century! Oh yeah. Hi, my name is Steve. And you're thinking, your mama didn't name you Steve? I don't get that reference, though. Marvin wears a Roman soldier's uniform with basketball shoes resembling Chuck Taylor All-Stars brand. The helmet and skirt that he wears are green, and his suit is red. In a few of the original shorts, his suit was green and the helmet and skirt golden. His head is a black sphere with only eyes for features, just like a black mage. Oh, that means black mages are Martians! The curved crest of his helmet appears with the push-broom-like upper section to comically resemble the helm of an ancient Greek hoplite, or the Gallia of a Roman centurion. The appearance of the combination of Marvin's head and helmet led Bugs Bunny referring to him as a bowling ball wearing a spittoon. And what is a spittoon? Receptacle made for spitting into. In one short, Marvin speaks with a soft, nasally voice and often speaks technobabble. He's known for his trademark quotes. Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom. Isn't that lovely? And this makes me very angry. Very angry indeed. Which is usually followed by him huffing and puffing. His voice sounds similar to one used for Claude the Cat. Anyway, let's pronounce this once again. Is Illudium Q36 explosive space modulator? There we go. Oh, the Indian call center dude. Yes, yes. Hello, my name is Steve. Yeah. Yeah, your mama didn't call you Steve. But speaking of scammers, you know those guys that call you up and try to buy your house for cash now? And, like, they give insultingly low offers, but some people are stupid enough to actually fall for them. Yeah, so I had one of those guys calling me. Oh, okay, I've had a ton of those guys calling me. And probably one of my favorite ones, he's like, would you like to sell your house? I'm like, I could be convinced for the right price. What is the offer? How much is your asking price? I'm like, no, that's not how this works. You're asking to buy from me. So you have to make an offer that is, that's appropriate for this. That will convince me to sell. He gives some stupidly low number. I'm like, no, come on, buddy. Try again. You need to go at least, and like I say something like over $1 million. He's like, but sir, you want to sell your house. I'm like, no, I don't want to sell my house. You want to buy my house. You need to make an offer for me to make me want to sell my house to you. It's like, no, that's not how that works. Although another one, again, same thing. Guy that wants to buy my house for like 30% off of what it's actually worth. He's saying stuff like, oh, so yeah, we do this and we buy cash. And it's like, sir, if you are going to scam me, could you at least have the common courtesy of using an Indian accent when you speak to me? Oh. So anyway, let us get back here. That is Catgirls, How to Safely Handle Explosives. And we are getting Freedom's First Breath. Right, close that, paste. Two, three, four, five, six. Really? It took it that long to notice that it was only 6 pages, and as soon as I delete that, 5 pages. Thinking about getting a fixer-upper, however the schools are terrible in an area where I saw those. Yeah. Alright, off of its rack, the rifle's sling strap is broken up reflection, its name, its lone silver button, add to dictionary, Narvalg. It's not, chat. It's not chattel, it's chattel. Chattel. Add to dictionary. Identify its source. Ancient white-haired parasite. Ignore. Settled. Ignore. Ignore. Spectre, but it's using that spelling. I'm assuming that's correct. Let's check. Spectre. Yes. That is one way of spelling it, but I'm assuming Spectre also works, yes. A ghostly apparition, a phantom. So we will just add the British spelling to the dictionary. We don't correct those guys. I mean, it's all a phone, a computer directory, and a script. Kind of the same job, whatever the actual title. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right, nothing's there. It's... lackadaisically. My keyboard is having issues. There we go. Power cycled it and it works now. Lackadaisically pointed. There we go. Chattel, once again, is spelled that way. Pistoned. Verb. Yeah. It is, in fact, a valid word. Ignore. Oh, wait, no, not ignore. That was an actual issue. And that comment there, yes. Okay, cool. I saw red. Nope. That was just a scrolling artifact. So yeah, when you took the conversation off script, dude was lost. Boss, he asked me about Pac-Man and the best peanut butter. I was quite vexed. Boss, he asked me about Pac-Man and the best peanut butter. I was quite vexed. He was supposed to sell the Earth to me so that we could have it go kaboom. All right, how goes that? Ooh, almost done. 4 minutes left. Cool. You, first, the title. Troublemakers, Freedom's First Breath. Troublemakers 12. Freedom's first breath. Troublemakers 12. Freedom's first breath. Boom. Says new lore point, Marvin hired the Vogons. The Vogon constructor fleet. He figured that they could come in, blow up the Earth, and then he could tie them up in lawsuits so that they don't ever actually build that space highway. Oh, he could hire Saul Goodman to keep coming up with ways to delay construction. True, Saul was actually delaying demolition, but fair enough. I haven't actually seen Better Call Saul, but it pops up every once in a while on the YouTube shorts, so I actually went out specifically just to watch that scene. Beautiful. Oh. With an army of instant lawyers. Yes. Instant lawyer, just add water. Go. Save. Troublemakers 12. Freedom's first breath. Yeah. Actually, instead of doing that, I should be focusing on some of that. So let's go teaching Catgirls, and maybe let's go to, is this an audio? Disgusting. Why would you ever give me the audio type of this page? You. Detail. Oh. Ugh. Disgusting. There is no contributing artist. There is no album. There is no number. There is no title. There's date created. There's date modified. And honestly, that's it. Yeah. That's all we need. Date modified, obviously today. Elven Maidens, how to use mech weapons. And open up the XCF. Yeah. That was the previous entry in this series. The Elven Maidens were learning how to use mech weapons. Catgirls with explosives. Let's see if such a... of course, someone has already done it by Sci-Fi Narrator. Is this going to be a...
Teaching Catgirls how to safely handle...
Oh, no. Sounds like a person. Maybe?
It produces such stupidly high temperature, said with a wink. Babe, what have you been...
Maybe? Whatever, we'll see. Let us go find some images. Catgirls with explosives. Yeah, that's a silly background. Whatever. Let us find something unique. We're not looking for the busty Catgirl waifus, no. And we're definitely not looking for the little Catgirls. Catgirls with bombs. Please? Anybody? Safe search strict. just so we don't have any on-stream accidents. Like the goons, but smarter. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, that is cute. Silly, destructive, but cute. Nice bombs, but not a cat girl. Cute cat girl, but no bombs. Oh, who hurt the kitty cat? Bad, bad. No, not bath bombs. Not kitty cat bath bombs. Bomb cat! Fitting. Some of those, I swear, are people pretending to be computer voices, and the rest are computer voices pretending to be people. It's all very tiresome. Yes, well, you can tell I am a real person. I shall not turn on my webcam, but I am, in fact, a real person. Is that nope? I was about to say, is that Amari from Super Robot Wars X? But no, that is Kirara from Genshin Impact, and I know nothing about Genshin Impact. I downloaded it once, but I never actually fired it up, and then I deleted it. Can I have a hug? Ooh? Bomb? But that is the wrong kind of cat. That is a cat. Same thing here, that is a cat with a bomb. These are not cats. These are, cat girls. Also not a girl with a bomb. What the hell, AI generator? Not a girl with a cat, either. A cat girl. And not a cat girl, either. A cat girl. Likewise, not a cat girl. A cat girl. Hooray, cat girls. But no bombs. Cat girl SFW. Aww. Also, the reason that cat girls can hear really well, they've got a set of human ears and a set of cat ears. Cat girls flying World War II bomber. There, new story idea. Well, pass it on to Farmwhich. Nekopara. Nekopara. More Nekos. Alright, how about let's go, Nekomimi Bomb. Aw. I mean, I won't say that's good art, but it definitely has the giant eyes that make you just go, aww. I miss, 90s anime that shamelessly did the huge eyes. Now that's a potion, not a bomb. I mean, it may be an explosive potion. That's still not what we're looking for. Okay. Cat girls in school uniform. I mean, they don't all need to look identical. And they don't need to look like they're about to try to seduce you. I mean, cute, but yeah, we don't need the mouse boy in her mouth. Oh? No. Oh, jeez, look at that horrible AI face. I was focusing on the ears, saw they were a headband, and just scrolled immediately further. And then as I was scrolling, I'm like, God, what is up with those eyes? Come on. We don't need maids. They're not Neko maids. They're Neko schoolgirls. Come on, why is the search so bad? Those are human schoolgirls. We're looking for Catgirls in school uniform. Yeah, and we're completely past all the Catgirls now. Okay. What else shall we try? I mean, is Google gonna be any better? Catgirls in school uniform. Oh? Oh? No. Once again, headbands. I want the headbands. Group of Catgirls in school uniform. Okay. Nice. Better? Those are police girls, not schoolgirls. Come on, Google. Ooh. I think we just found a winner. It may be... Oh, and it's even Girls und Panzer, which is certainly... Nyanko Team 2. Okay, cool. I think we might have a winner there. Just probably get some cute bombs, if possible. Alternatively, I'll do... See, like, there's a nice selection, but they're maids, not schoolgirls. No. Okay. No, enough of that. So let's go, Catgirls with explosives. And of course, that's something that one pops up immediately. Cute Neko bombs. Yes, that is what I was looking for. Even the bomb is a kitty cat. Bomb cat. Don't need that. But yeah, between these two, I can make a background image. Cool. And with that, with how long that took, we obviously finished rendering. So I'm going to ignore the thumbnail for a second, since that's for Friday, and get back to actually doing the narration. Teaching Catgirls. I guess I can close that since we finished with it. Audacity, and we can close teaching Catgirls also. Properly closed. Hooray. Let me close the window and we'll get started narrating. Need audio check, audio check. Move it over a bit there, audio check. Okay, yeah, that is picking up my voice properly. Let's get... Okay. Alright, normal speaking voice. Alright, a slightly more exaggerated speaking voice. Good. Good, good, good. That's done. And let's turn fans back down to minimum. They don't need to be going so loud and interfering with the recording. Drake picked up the M40 carbine, pulling the charging handle partway back to make sure a round was chambered. Setting it to the side, he pulled his Titanite chest plate off its rack and slipped it over his head. The clamshell design of the armor did away with the need for excessive straps and latches. Instead, 2 leather straps at kidney level were the only ones needed to secure it tightly to his body. The absurdly light armor hugged him like a second skin as he strapped his datapad onto his left arm. Slinging the rifle's sling strap over his shoulder, he let the rifle rest flat against his back as he undid his belt. Lovingly, Drake picked up his sword and scabbard. He slowly drew the silvery, black-veined blade from its scabbard to admire it. Then and there, he vowed to make this sword his symbol. He smiled, twisting the blade to see his broken-up reflection. For a moment, Drake didn't recognize the man in the reflection. A youthful face with a long cut... A youthful... That out. Mouse, where'd you disappear to? Setting it to the side. Comma. A youthful face with a long cut from eyebrow to chin across the nose that was scarring nicely. The dark. Yeah, that's why that didn't work. For a moment, Drake didn't recognize the man in his reflection. A youthful face with a long cut from eyebrow to chin across the nose that was scarring nicely. The dark, hazel eyes staring back at him were haunted by loss. But the man in the mirror's smile was unbroken, undaunted by the task ahead of them. That is Drake talking. Oh, I should probably toss up the recording sign. You'll need a name, Drake found himself saying as he slid the scabbard onto his belt, so it rested at his left side. Drake gazed past his little friend. You'll need a name, Drake found himself saying as he slid the scabbard onto his belt so it rested at his left side. Drake gazed past his reflection, at the dark lines that ran through the sword's metal like the veins of a leaf. He stood there, silent, thinking of what might be a fitting name, but he didn't have to think as the sounds rose from his mouth.
a name and a language long forgotten to time and tyranny. I shall call you Alexandros. I shall call you Alexandros. Side note, Alexandros, defender of men. Now, men in this case, while technically meaning men, it can also, at least my understanding is that it can also mean man like mankind. But yes, if you ever meet anybody named Andrea, remember that the name means manly. So, all the people that are naming daughters Andrea, yeah, you done goofed. It's why Andrea Bocelli, the tenor, the famous tenor, yeah, his name just means manly. But if you're from America and you've only ever seen Andrea as a female name, yeah, you're just like, oh, why is he named after a girl? Oh no, why are people calling their girls manly? Also, I guess since I love being distracted by things, once as a joke, I was just like, wait, what's the manliest man name that I can come up with? I'm like, okay, hang on, it was Adam. Shoot, why do I not remember what I came up with? Is it? I think Alexander Adams. So, you know, defender of man. Because Adam does mean man. Oh. No, there we go. Andrew Adams or Adam Andrews, and I couldn't decide between the two. Just like, why can't I not remember? But yes. Adam Andrews or Andrew Adams. The manliest names possible, because it literally just translates to man. I really overemphasize my S's. The sword. Nope. Do not hit the desk with my hand. That is bad. The sword seemed to shiver in his hand, as though accepting its name. With a sweeping motion, Drake slid the blade into its scabbard, feeling how the wood hugged the blade, as though the sword was simply another one of his limbs. Turning and walking towards the door, Drake plucked the ragged, dark black cloak Brown had made him from its hook, and slung it around his shoulders. Then, he fastened its lone silver button around his neck to keep it in place. Raising the large, loose hood, Drake felt something in his chest as the hood's black mesh veil fell over his face. Something he'd never felt before. Confidence. The slave merchant Narvalg made his rounds for the afternoon, making sure the parasite's cages were locked tight. As he checked the padlock on one of the steel cages, something slimy and warm splattered over his left eyes. Wiping the parasite's disgusting excretion from his eyes, he pulled the chattel prod from his belt. The parasite that had spat in his face grinned at him, despite the chains that held them in a kneeling position with their arms behind their back. Narvalg smeared down at the He definitely did not smear down at the parasite. He sneered down at the parasite. I mean, unless he literally smeared himself. Narvalg sneered down at the parasite before thumbing the chattel prod's button and jabbing it through the bars. The electrodes jabbed into the parasite's pec muscle, causing them to jerk around in pain. However, instead of the screams he was accustomed to, the parasite laughed like a madman until Narvog pulled the prod away. The parasite's voice was weak, fading as they stared into Narvog's 4 eyes and stated, "His chosen." "His chosen is coming. Though I enter his embrace on my knees, you will enter it begging for one more day, like the cowards you are." The parasite's head fell forward, and they stopped breathing. Narvog scoffed and began making his way between the cages towards the front entrance. He'd have one of the guards dispose of the dead parasite. Mother forbid Narvog have to soil his hands with their putrid flesh. He'd have one of the guards dispose of the dead parasite. Mother forbid Narvog have to soil his hands with their putrid flesh. Walking past a group of cages, he heard cackling, and sharply turned to identify its source. An ancient, white-haired parasite cackled at him from their cage, hands wrapped around the bars as they cackled their words. "Death is coming for you, slaver, and his disciples will show no mercy." The parasite went stiff, clutching their chest before they keeled over. Mirthful grins still stuck on their face. Narvog found himself unsettled. The parasites never spoke against him, never spoke to him, nor had one ever spit in his face. Shaking his head clear, Narvog marched up to the front doors and pulled them open. Fresh air caressed his face. And he took a deep breath to rid his lungs of the parasitic stench that permeated the market. "Carvax, Zal, there's a dead parasite on rows A and F. Dispose of them while I finish my paperwork." The 2 uniformed guards nodded dutifully and stepped past Narvog to go and dispose of the rotting merchandise. Narvog sighed and left the doors open to allow the breeze from the street inside. Narvog sighed and left the doors open to allow the breeze from the street inside as he walked around the walled... Narvog sighed and left the doors open to allow the breeze from the street inside as he walked around the walled-in cubby that was his office. Sitting down, Narvog pulled a folder from the inbox on his desk and pulled a fountain pen from its holder. He went through the papers one by one, signing his approval for slave loans and marking down the weekly deposits for those that wished to buy one. There was a knock on the glass partition that faced the doors. Without looking up, Narvog stated, If you're here to buy a parasite, you'll have to wait. I'm behind on my paperwork. Thank you in advance for your patience." The customer on the other side of the glass remained silent as Narvog finished signing off a loan request. As Narvog placed the paper in the outbox, the customer knocked again, making the slave merchant look up in exasperation. Narvog's blood ran cold as he stared into the faceless void inside the figure's hood. A black, raggedy cloak obscuring their torso. Something moved under the cloak, and Narvolg fearfully found his voice while reaching beneath his desk.
Who might you be? I don't think I've ever seen you before. Kind of short for a notion, huh?
The figure remained silent and still, like a specter from beyond the veil. Narvolg's hand curled around the blaster pistol he kept for unruly merchandise.
It doesn't matter, of course. Yeah, but you'll need an application if you wish to buy. I have one right. Yeah!
Desperately, Narvolg drew the blaster pistol, leveled it at the figure's chest, and pressed the trigger stud. There was a blinding flash as part of the figure's cloak burnt away, revealing nothing but dark metal. The devotion to my craft. There it is. Cap for my water bottle just fell under the desk. That's annoying as always. Revealing nothing but dark metal. Narvolg threw the pistol at the glass, not even registering that it bounced off as he bolted from his chair and through the flimsy wooden door of his office. He sprinted into the market, a caustic laugh echoing out from behind him. Narvolg weaved between cages, making his way towards the incinerator room and his guards. Rounding a corner, Narvolg slammed into one of his guards, and they caught each other. Narvolg desperately pointed behind him, screaming with fear and distress that he couldn't quite place.
There's some thing chasing me. Kill it! Kill it now!
His guards looked at him strangely, but drew their blaster pistols and ran in the indicated direction. Breathing a sigh of relief, Narvolg collapsed against a cage with juvenile parasites and their mother. The sound of soft, weeping accompanied. The sound of soft weeping, a comfort. He flinched as a deafening thunderclap sounded from somewhere in the building, followed by another before silence took its reign yet again. Narvolg sat still, frozen in fear. No, petrified by it as he desperately looked around for his cloaked assailant. The silence so deafening he could hear his pounding heart. Minutes passed, and Narvolg heard nothing. Slowly, he worked up the courage to get to his feet and go looking. A caustic laugh from right behind him made him freeze mid-step. That took you long enough. Thought I'd have to make a noise for you to move. There's no fun in shooting a defenseless animal. Put your hands up and turn around. Let me get a good look at you. With a gulp, Narvolg slowly turned to face his assailant, something warm running down his leg. A parasite boy, no older than 17 cycles, smiled softly at him. Small scars covered their face, accentuated by a long, still-healing cut across the length of their face. An odd, black polymer and metal device in their hands was lackadaisically pointed at his face from where the boy sat atop the row of cages. Their cloak was parted down the middle, revealing the leather pants. Their cloak was parted down the middle, revealing their leather pants and fabric blouse, along with the skin-tight, segmented titanite armor that covered their chest and stomach. The parasite boy hopped down, keeping the odd device pointed at Narvolg's face. Stepping closer, the parasite boy hummed a tune.
Stepping closer, the parasite boy hummed a tune as he plucked the ring of keys and chattel prod from Narvolg's belt. Stepping back and setting the keys and prod atop the nearest cage, the parasite smiled maniacally at Narvolg, their eyes aflame with hatred. What to do? What to do? The parasite boy pondered to themselves, only for a timid voice to reply, "No." The parasite boy wondered to pondered. The parasite boy pondered to themselves, only for a timid voice to reply, Excuse me, sir. Are you here to save us?" The parasite boy glanced down at one of the juveniles in the cage, a small male. The parasite boy's smile grew warm, and finally reached their eyes as they pulled the keys off the top of the cage, their tone soft as they tried each and every key against the cage's lock. "I am. Don't worry. I've even got a place for all of you to go when you're free. Ah, there's the key." With a click and a squeak, the parasite boy opened the cage door and unlocked the juvenile's manacles. The mother and female juvenile scooted closer, letting their cloaked savior unlock their chains. Seeing the device no longer pointed at him, and the cloaked parasite distracted, Narvolg made a break for it. The slave master's legs pistoned up and down as he ran faster than he ever had before. If he could just make it to the front door. A thunderclap echoed through the building, and white-hot pain blossomed in Narvolg's left knee, sending him crashing to the floor. The cold voice of the parasite came from behind him as he desperately tried to crawl away. "A commendable effort, but you aren't getting away, slaver. No, you're going to get what you deserve." A heavy boot crashed into Narvolg's ribs, breaking several and forcing him to roll onto his back as he began to beg.
Please don't kill me. I'll give you anything. Money, name your price. Slaves, they're all yours. Just please don't kill me. Please."
Narvolg was crying now, hands raised in a feeble defense against the device in the human's hands. One Narvolg now clearly understood was a firearm. The cloaked parasite chuckled and pulled Narvolg's blaster pistol from their pocket. "Oh, don't worry. I won't kill you." The cloaked parasite handed the pistol to the dead-eyed mother, who looked up at him as if asking permission. The cloaked parasite nodded, continuing to speak. "She will. After all, you've done nothing to me. It'd be unfair to rob them of their chance for revenge." The mother took the pistol, eyes starting to burn with repressed rage. Turning the pistol over, she got it into the hand that was missing a few fingers, lopped off for stealing food. The woman pointed the pistol's emitter at Narvolg's throat, the slave master pitifully whimpering.
Please, no."
The woman's voice was cold as ice. "Yes." Problem is, it's annoying. Yes. Yes. Yeah, see, clearly male, not what we're looking for. How do I want to... Yes. 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 Ooh, I like that one. Not necessarily a good one, but I like it.
She pressed the trigger stud, and the laser pistol burst the Geknoshin's neck open. The slave master choked on their own blood, clawing at their mangled throat, only making it worse. And as the slave master drew their final blood-choked breath, the woman took her first, refreshing breath of freedom. And as the slave master drew their final, blood-choked breath, the woman took her first, refreshing breath of freedom. And as the slave master drew their final blood-choked breath, the woman took her first, refreshing breath of freedom. And as the slave master drew their final, blood-choked breath, the woman took her first, refreshing breath of freedom. That'll have to be good enough. Cool. Recording completed. Let's save that recording. Back home. No. Zoom reset, lovely. Zoom reset doesn't do it, but that's close enough. Alright, noise reduction, get noise profile, effect, noise reduction, apply noise reduction. Nose reduction, yes. That is, to get Princess Vespa her new nose, they had to perform a nose reduction. To about yay far, that's good. Save. Shift S, and let's do a space CL. Failed to write to file. What the hell? Why does that happen sometimes? Library error near S syntax error. Okay, this is not the first time that something like that has happened. File recent means that the audio track somehow got corrupted. Let's save it again. Yep, failed to save. That's fine. We have tricks for that, which is you go to where it's going to be saved, export, and then you open that exported file, and then you use that to make the open Troublemakers M4A. That should open as a new file. Perfect. It does. And we save this one as the CL version. Perfect. Successful. And effect. Compressor. And effect. Limiter. Let that roll. Cool. And save, not save as, regular save and export. Also in the correct location. Perfect. So while that's going, we can pull up the snipping tool. It's been exported. Cool. We can minimize. Actually, we can close the CL
We can minimize the non-CL version of it. Got our snipping tool and can move you over to there, make things a little easier on us. 40. $40 on my graphics card, which is fine. So let me hit the privacy field for just a second. All right. CPU's chilling at the 43 to 50 degree level. It's not recording. Turn off Hubble. Yeah. Hanging tight. Core speed's maxed out though. So kind of a bit surprised by that. Should probably be coming down at some point, but whatever. It's just hanging high at the 4.5 gigahertz. Whatever. That's fine. That is fine. All right. Here is that snipping tool. There it is. And let's start snipping. Two, three. Troublemakers. Troublemakers. One. Ah, ah, ah. One. Ah, ah, ah. Two. Ah, ah, ah. Three. Ah, ah, ah. 4. Ah, ah, ah. 5. Ah, ah, ah. 6. Ah, ah, ah. 7. Ah, ah, ah. 8. Ah, ah, ah. 9. Ah, ah, ah. 10. Ah, ah, ah. 11. Ah, ah, ah. Joseph, welcome. Hope you managed to survive that horrible bit of Count Von Account for the past 4 minutes. Yeah, welcome. Glad you could make it. We are doing some Troublemakers right now. We wrapped up the Catgirls, though, so you did miss that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Save, minimize that, and let's get going here. How are you doing, Joseph? Keeping well? Let's see. New narration. Troublemakers. Select folder. Troublemakers 012. Start. Open. Hubble small. UI. Open. Troublemakers. First breath CL. Gotta make sure we get the right one, of course. And we need screenshots from 1 to 11. Yep, watched a lot of the vids, so why not live? Exactly, you get to see how the sausage is made. And chat and hang out with me while I do boring things like editing. Oh. And you can listen to me complain that this really needs to have a way of letting this the size default to 90%, so I don't need to type in 90% every single time. But I've complained about that too much, so no point about complaining it more. 390. I mean, if I were... You just finished world building, I feel your pain. Oh. So, I admit, I love world building. It is so much fun, but I realize that's because I have a very certain type of creativity. It took someone explaining what they're like. So, are you familiar with personality types? I'm an INTJ, the mastermind. And I was on a group on Facebook with people that are also INTJs. And one of the women there said, yeah, the thing you need to understand is that INTJs aren't creative. We just deduce things logically. And I'm like, you have identified something that is so true about me. It's like, if you want to get me to go creative from nothing, I got nothing. You give me a tiny seed of an idea, and I will world build like crazy, just making logical deductions off of that one particular change away from our modern world. And it doesn't matter if it's like sci-fi, if it's magic, if it's fantasy, whatever it is, you set up the premise, and I just start going like crazy finding all the logical deductions. To other people, it looks like creativity, and it's a great simulation of creativity, but technically, it's not creativity. Alright. Let me open the windows here. Had them closed while recording, because there's no point risking getting some random car passing by or idiots doing stuff. It's procedure. Exactly. Yep. It's just things making sense. And it's like, of course, if that's the world that you make, then that's how it's going to be. And now you get to listen to me do a quality check at 2 times speed. Drake picked up... Nope, that is too long. Drake picked up the M40 carbine, pulling the charging handle back
to make sure a round was chambered. Setting it to the side, he pulled his titanite chest plate off its rack and slipped it over his head. The clamshell design of the armor did away with the need for excessive straps and latches. Instead, 2 leather straps at kitty level were the only ones needed to secure it tightly to his body. The absurdly light armor hugged him like a second skin, as he strapped his datapad onto his left arm. Slinging the rifle sling strap over his shoulder, he let the rifle rest flat against his back as he undid his belt. Lovingly, Drake picked up his sword and scabbard. He slowly drew the silvery, black-veined blade from its scabbard to admire it. Then and there, he vowed to make this sword his symbol. He smiled, twisting the blade to see his broken-up reflection. For a moment, Drake didn't recognize the man in his reflection. The youthful face with a long cut from eyebrow to chin across the nose that was scarring nicely. The dark, hazel eyes staring back at him were haunted by loss. But the man in the mirror's smile was unbroken, undaunted by the task ahead of them. You'll need a name.
No. Wrong one. That's the one we're snipping.
Drake found himself saying, as he slid the scabbard onto his belt so it rested at his left side. Drake gazed past his reflection, at the dark lines that ran through the sword's metal like the veins of a leaf. He stood there, silent, thinking of what might be a fitting name, but he didn't have to think because the sounds rose from his mouth. A name in a language long forgotten to time and tyranny. I shall call you Alexandros. The sword seemed to shiver in his hand, as though accepting its name. With a sweeping motion, Drake slid the blade into its scabbard, feeling how the wood hugged the blade, as though the sword was simply another one of his limbs. Turning and walking towards the door, Drake plucked the ragged, dark black cloak Brown had made him from its hook, and slung it around his shoulders. Then, he fastened its lone silver button around his neck to keep it in place. Raising the large, loose hood, Drake felt something in his chest as the hood's black mesh veil fell over his face. Something he'd never felt before. Confidence. The slave merchant Narvog made his rounds for the afternoon, making sure the parasite's cages were locked tight. As he checked the padlock on one of the steel cages, something slimy and warm splattered over his left eyes. Wiping the parasite's disgusting excretion from his eyes, he pulled the channel prod from his belt. The parasite that had spat in his face grinned at him, despite the chains that held them in a kneeling position with their arms behind their back. Narvog sneered down at the parasite, before thumbing the channel prod's button and jabbing it through the bars. The electrodes jabbed into the parasite's pec muscle, causing them to jerk around in pain. However, instead of the screams he was accustomed to, the parasite laughed like a madman, until Narvog pulled the prod away. The parasite's voice was weak, fading as they stared into Narvog's 4 eyes and stated, His chosen is coming, though I enter his embrace on my knees. You will enter it begging for one more day, like the cowards you are. The parasite's head fell forward, and they stopped breathing. Narvog scoffed and began making his way between the cages towards the front entrance. He'd have one of the guards dispose of the dead parasite. Mother forbid Narvog have to soil his hands with their putrid flesh. Walking past a group of cages, he heard cackling, and sharply turned to identify its source. An ancient, white-haired parasite cackled at him from their cage, hands wrapped around the bars as they cackled their words. Death is coming for your slaver, and his disciples will show no mercy. The parasite went stiff, clutching their chest before they keeled over, mirthful grin still stuck on their face. Narvog found himself unsettled. The parasites never spoke against him, never spoke to him, nor had one ever spit in his face. Shaking his head clear, Narvog marched up to the front doors and pulled them open. Fresh air caressed his face, and he took a deep breath to rid his lungs of the parasitic stench that permeated the market.
Kovacs, Zol, there's a dead parasite on road A and F. Dispose of them while I finish my paperwork. Dispose of them while I finish my paperwork.
The 2 uniformed guards nodded dutifully, and stepped past Narvog to go and dispose of the rotting merchandise. Narvog sighed and left the doors open to allow the breeze from the street inside, as he walked around the walled-in cubby that was his office. Sitting down, Narvog pulled a folder from the inbox on his desk, and pulled a fountain pen from its holder. He went through the papers one by one, signing his approval for slave loans, and marking down the weekly deposits for those that wished to buy one. There was a knock on the glass partition that faced the doors. Without looking up, Narvog stated,
If you're here to buy a parasite, you'll have to wait. I'm behind on my paperwork. Thank you in advance for your patience.
The customer on the other side of the glass remained silent, as Narvog finished signing off a loan request. As Narvog placed the paper in the outbox, the customer knocked again, making the slave merchant look up in exasperation. Narvog's blood ran cold as he stared into the faceless void inside the figure's hood, a black, raggedy cloak obscuring their torso. Something moved under the cloak, and Narvog fearfully found his voice while reaching beneath his desk.
Who might you be? I don't think I've ever seen you before. Kind of short for a notion, huh?
The figure remained silent and still, like a specter from beyond the veil. Narvog's hand curled around the blaster pistol he kept for unruly merchandise.
It doesn't matter, of course. Yeah, but you'll need an application if you wish to buy. I have one right. Yeah.
Desperately, Narvog drew the blaster pistol, leveled it at the figure's chest, and pressed the trigger stud. There was a blinding flash as part of the figure's cloak burnt away, revealing nothing but dark metal. Narvog threw the pistol at the glass, not even registering that it bounced off as he bolted from his chair and through the flimsy wooden door of his office. He sprinted into the market, a caustic laugh echoing out from behind him. Narvog weaved between cages, making his way towards the incinerator room and his guards. Rounding a corner, Narvog slammed into one of his guards, and they caught each other. Narvog desperately pointed behind him, screaming with fear and distress that he couldn't place.
There's some thing chasing me. Kill it! Kill it now!
His guards looked at him strangely, but drew their blaster pistols and ran in the indicated direction. Breathing a sigh of relief, Narvog collapsed against a cage with juvenile parasites and their mother. The sound of soft weeping, a comfort. He flinched as a deafening thunderclap sounded from somewhere in the building, followed by another before silence took its reign yet again. Narvog sat still, frozen in fear. No, petrified by it as he desperately looked around for his cloaked assailant. The silence so deafening he could hear his pounding heart. Minutes passed, and Narvog heard nothing. Slowly, he worked up the courage to get to his feet and go looking. A caustic laugh from right behind him made him freeze mid-step. That took you long enough. Thought I'd have to make a noise for you to move. There's no fun in shooting a defenseless animal. Put your hands up and turn around. Let me get a good look at you. With a gulp, Narvog
Slowly turned to face his assailant, something warm running down his leg. We all know what it is, and unfortunately, he didn't bring his yellow pants.
A parasite boy, no older than 17 cycles, smiled softly at him. Small scars covered their face, accentuated by a long, still-healing cut across the length of their face. An odd, black polymer and metal device in their hands was lackadaisically pointed at his face from where the boys sat atop the row of cages. Their cloak was parted down the middle, revealing their leather pants and fabric blouse, along with the skin-tight, segmented titanite armor that covered their chest and stomach. The parasite boy hopped down, keeping the odd device pointed at Narvog's face. Stepping closer, the parasite boy hummed a tune as he plucked the ring of keys and chattel prod from Narvog's belt. Stepping back and setting the keys and prod atop the nearest cage, the parasite smiled maniacally at Narvog, their eyes aflame with hatred. What to do? What to do? The parasite boy pondered to themselves, only for a timid voice to reply, excuse me, sir, are you here to save us? The parasite boy glanced down at one of the juveniles in the cage, a small male. The parasite boy's smile grew warm, and finally reached their eyes as they pulled the keys off the top of the cage, their tone soft as they tried to
Every key against the cage's lock.
I am. Don't worry, I've even got a place for all of you to go when you're free. Ah, there's the key. With a click and a squeak, the parasite boy opened the cage door and unlocked the juvenile's manacles. The mother and female juveniles scooted closer, letting their cloaked savior unlock their chains. Seeing the device no longer pointed at him, and the cloaked parasite distracted, Narvog made a break for it. The slave master's legs pistoned up and down as he ran faster than he ever had before. If he could just make it to the front door. A thunderclap echoed through the building, and white-hot pain blossomed in Narvog's left knee, sending him crashing to the floor. The cold voice of the parasite came from behind him as he desperately tried to crawl away. A commendable effort, but you aren't getting away,
Slaver. No, you're going to get what you deserve.
A heavy boot crashed into Narvog's ribs, breaking several and forcing him to roll onto his back as he began to beg.
Please don't kill me. I'll give you anything. Money, name your price. Slaves, they're all yours. Just please don't kill me. Please.
Narvog was crying now, hands raised in a feeble defense against the device in the human's hands. One Narvog now clearly understood was a firearm. The cloaked parasite chuckled and pulled Narvog's blaster pistol from their pocket. Oh, don't worry. I won't kill you. The cloaked parasite handed the pistol to the dead-eyed mother, who looked up at him as if asking permission. The cloaked parasite nodded, continuing to speak. She will. After all, you've done nothing to me. It'd be
unfair to rob them of their chance for revenge.
The mother took the pistol, eyes starting to burn with repressed rage. Turning the pistol over, she got it into the hand that was missing a few fingers, lopped off for stealing food. The woman pointed the pistol's emitter at Narvog's throat, the slave master pitifully whimpering.
Please, no!
The woman's voice was cold as ice. Yes. She pressed the trigger stud, and the laser pistol burst the Gecnosian's neck open. The slave master choked on their own blood, clawing at their mangled throat, only making it worse. And as the slave master drew their final, blood-choked breath, the woman took her first refreshing breath of freedom.
Ooh, first refreshing breath of freedom. Troublemakers, troublemakers, troublemakers. Woo! Alright. So, that... And I still need to, still need to make the, thumbnail for Friday. Thumbnail for Wednesday is going to be easy. It's just following the same format. Teaching Catgirls how to safely use explosives, I figure I'm just going to combine, this thumbnail, or this picture, with a kitty bomb. Because, you know, teaching Catgirls how to safely handle explosives, and come on, what's cuter than a kitty bomb? I mean, Catgirls might be, but whatever. Maybe shrink it down, maybe paste it over whatever the hell that thing is. I have no idea what it is. Supposedly it's from these are from Girls und Panzer, Nyanko team. But I haven't seen Girls und Panzer, so I don't know. But we can do, here. So yeah, that's Troublemakers 12. That's Teaching Catgirls. Those two I still need to ask for narration permission. Fourth generation warfare. Oh yes. There you go. Get frightened by the Harchan. Yeah, it's a Harchan. Harchan. We just don't want to call it a Harchan. Oh, kawaii Harchan. Because the one thing it definitely is not is cute. But yeah, these are the Harchan that tried to invade Earth and realized it didn't go quite so well. Some good comments on it. Oh, well, that's horrifying. The only good bug is a dead bug. Would you like to know more? Desire to know more intensifies with glorious purpose. I'm from Buenos Aires and I say kill 'em all. My own comment here. It's a shrimp with shrimp legs and smaller shrimp for claws. And just to confirm, it's a shrimp with legs and smaller shrimp for claws. I mean, it's true. Yeah, very, very horrifying. Ooh. Okay, anyway, we are going to go back to chapter 1. And I guess we may as well go to Word, open up a new one. Fourth Generational Warfare by Atticus Reborn. How long are the... Oh, that is only 3 pages long. Ugh, okay, well, that's okay. Real space, add to dictionary. Medbay, it's gonna add to dictionary. Archan, add to dictionary. Big difference already. Real, add to dictionary. Monopolizing, I will add to dictionary because that is just British spelling. Zilpic, add to dictionary. Zilpics, add to dictionary. Harchans, add to dictionary. Sil, add to dictionary. Yes, comma. Coverage.
Of course, Swing Commander.
Oh. Oh. Since we are rendering, I may as well boost my fan speed a little bit. No need for it to be suffering in the heat. And the GPU even gained a couple of degrees. Fortunately, it should all dissipate soon enough. How much longer do we have? Oh, another 6 minutes of narration of rendering. Right, document 3. Save. Go. Which one shots? Atticus Reborn? No underscore. It was one word. Wait, no. Also not. That's not a one shot. It's a series. So let's go in here and fourth generational warfare. New folder. call it 4th Gen 01. 4th Gen 01. Perfect. Make things easier on me. The Zilpic ruddered glorious endeavors envelope unfolded around it. Now travel gets speeds with relativistic effects of slipstream travel would not seriously damage the ship. High Trader Azakran his claws underneath his frill as he checked the report from his ship's tender. Pleased to see that all his cargo hadn't suffered from exceptionally rare but frustrating temporal anomalies. The only negative mark on the transit was a member of the crew with a small embolism, now in medbay, who had served on the Endeavor long enough to know better than to exit his transit seat before the deceleration had finished. It was in Zilpic nature to be competitive, but Azak never understood why trying to be the first back to work after a transit lockdown was popular, especially as this was a run suitable for a fresh graduate of the College of Trade, a supply run to what should be a recently pacified Harchon polity. It had been 4 ril, roughly 75 days, since the Harchon had entered the system, declaring their arrival intentions publicly, both to the planet's inhabitants and the wider spacefaring community, as was required by interspacefaring species laws. By now, the native art and literature should be completely supplanted by Harchon culture, with a few touchstones the Harchon approved of, and progress on mining the extensive asteroid belt between the gas giant of the system should just be about to start. A delivery of high-yield mining drones, highly adjustable breathing apparatus, and an offer of an export contract should be a nice way to round off the season's trade, and also add a nice diplomatic exchange bump to the bonus that the Zilpic High Council would approve based on how the Endeavor's trading had gone. True, there might still be a few protest movements, especially at the more tyrannical impositions the Harchon tended to use. The vastly improved medical care, upgraded industrial capacity, and improved communications to near light speed. That's actually not an improvement. Should have pacified even the most truculent native. Let's double check. Truculent. Huh. That is a word. And I pronounced it correctly. Yeah, belligerent. Cool. Only a few of the former world's elite ruling class would be feeling hard done by, with their leadership role completely gone, replaced by a large chitinous insect who spent their entire life since birth waiting to be given the chance to rule a small part of the Harchon Union. It was this resentment which had caused the Zilpic to prefer completely monopolizing new species trade network, extracting raw materials in exchange for advanced technology and permanent shipping contracts. Isaac thought it far better to allow species to handle their own political affairs, as long as whoever won was willing to sign trade deals with the Zilpic Trade Council. It was a shame this role had been claimed in the quorum of spacefaring species before the Zilpic had found out about it, as it was nicely placed to form part of a new trade route. But the Zilpic's brand of soft power would be far less of a shock to adjust to than the Harchon's wholesale seizure of power. As he mused, he noticed that a scanner's officer was staring at his screen in slight amusement, his long twin tail flicking slightly up and down in confusion. Now we get to come up with voices. What's the problem, Sil? Mining drone in our transit path. What's the problem, Sil? A mining drone in our transit path.
I know, High Trader. Quite the opposite. There's nothing in the asteroid belt at all. Not even a scout ship or base.
As went over what he'd been told, this normally would mean the Harchon was still trying to secure the world, as normally at least a patrol of Harchon interceptors would be in the outer limits of the habitable and useful worlds to prevent rogue miners taking advantage of the chaos caused by the takeover. The Harchon were so caught up, it might be worth leaving a drone here to mine for a bit, and pick it up on his outward journey. Clicking his eyes to moisten them, he turned to his sensor officer. No sense in stealing from the somewhat touchy Har-Chan if they were currently looking at it. Focus arrays on the habitable planet. Nearest Har-Chan mothership should give us answers, and put us in contact with the annexation commander, so we can find out what's happening here. Yes, High Trader. Two returns matching mothership designation at geosynchronous polar orbit. Ooh. Isaac's tail lashed angrily. Sill, you have operated sensors on my ship since my first run. Please tell me you are not allowing a lump of dirt and rock to mask the other four. No, Isaac, I know my job. No, Isaac, I know my job. Fourth planet, suddenly the command. 6 Har-Chan interceptors, weapons hot, incoming. Hailing beam is locked on. They know we're here. I've received a message. Coded last chance. Put it through to your headset. Isaac nodded, putting on his gilded headset, and gulped. His gravelly, deep voice that could only belong to an angry bug twice the width of him. A Zilpic traitor. Okay, yeah. I guess the bugs are here. Zilpic traitor, you will power down fully. Now, of course, Swing Command. Of course, Swing Command. Oh, do I want to do Marvin the Martian? Of course, Wing Commander. I assure you we are merely here for trade. Why? Is something wrong? Now what's the problem, Sill? I could go, what's the problem, Sill? I do kind of like that. Oh, what's the problem, Sill? No, High Trader. Oh, what's the problem, Sill? A mining drone in our transit path? No, High Trader. Quite the opposite. Yeah, I guess that Cell could be, here. He's probably only in this chapter, if I recall correctly. Yeah, Cell can be here. Oh, no. Cell is in the second chapter a little bit, but not much there. How about, chapter 3? Not in chapter 3. Alright, 1 second. Quick bathroom run, and then we'll be back and start recording.
Doing silly voices makes me thirsty. Getting thirsty makes me drink, and drinking makes me pee. It's the circle of fluids. It's the circle of life, and it moves us all through faith and hope. Through something else and love till we find our place for the path unwinding in the circle of life. Circle of life. Beep 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 beep. Vigilant top found. Need 20 Brit commissions. 2 Sarges on board. Mountain Man. V Happy Mountain Lion. Dee 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 dee. Ba da 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 da. What's that? Let's get Audacity going. New one. Old one we can close. And let's go ahead and save that to 4th Generational Warfare. 4th Gen 01. 4th Gen 01. Get rid of the DuckX and boom! Close that as well. Keep things clean. Nice and clean on our systems. No need to get stuff blocked in by other things. Ooh, someone subscribed to Fizz's Free Funds. Hooray! That's always something to celebrate. Hopefully they used one of my referral links. Oh, what's the problem, Sil? Oh.
No, I trader. No, I trader. Quite the opposite. Yes, okay, so yeah, Sil's gonna be up here.
Oh, what's the problem, Sil? A mining drone in our transit path.
No, I trader. Quite the opposite.
Focus array is on the habitable planet. Nearest Harchan mothership should give us answers, and put us in contact with the annexation commanders so we can find out what's happening here.
Yes, High Trader.
Okay. Let's turn fans back down. Always a smart choice.
Always nice getting the fans down to minimal speeds. Makes things so much nicer. I can stay up, we'll just mess with it later. Oh, why can I not find it? There you are. Gotta get my chat aggregator out of the way, get the task manager out of the way, and now we can work. Nope. Recording in progress. Now we can work. The Zilpic Runner, glorious endeavor's envelope of real space unfolded around it, now traveling at speeds where the relativistic The Zilpic Runner, glorious endeavor's envelope of real space unfolded around it, now traveling at speeds where the relativistic effects of slipstream travel would not seriously damage the ship. High Trader Ozic ran his claws underneath his frill as he checked the report from his ship's tender, pleased to see that all his cargo hadn't suffered from exceptionally rare but frustrating temporal anomalies. The only negative mark on the transit was a member of the crew with a small embolism, now in medbay, who had served on the Endeavor long enough to know better than to exit his transit seat before deceleration had finished. It was in Zilpic nature to be competitive, but Ozic never It was in Zilpic nature. It was in Zilpic nature to be competitive, but Ozic never understood why trying to be the first back to work after a transit lockdown was popular, especially as this was a run suitable for a fresh graduate of the College of Trade, a supply run to what should be a recently pacified Harchan polity. It had been 4 ril. It had been 4 ril, roughly 75 Earth days, since the Harchan had entered the system, declaring their arrival and intentions publicly, both to the planet's inhabitants and the wider spacefaring community, as was required by interspacefaring species law. By now, the native art and literature should be completely supplanted by Harchan culture, with a few touchstones the Harchan approved of, and progress on mining the extensive asteroid belt between the 4th planet and the first gas giant of the system should just be about to start. A delivery of high-yield mining drones, highly adjustable breathing apparatus, and an offer of an export contract should be a nice way to round off the season's trade, and also add a nice diplomatic exchange bump to the bonus that the Zilpic High Council would approve based on how the Endeavor's trading had gone. True, there might still be a few protest movements, especially at the more tyrannical impositions the Harchan tended to use, but the vastly improved medical care, upgraded industrial capacity, and improved communications to near light speed should have pacified even the most truculent native. Only a few of the former world's elite ruling class would be feeling hard done by, with their leadership role completely gone, replaced by a large, chitinous insect who spent their entire life since birth waiting to be given the chance to rule a small part of the Harchan polity union. Only a few of the former world's elite ruling class would be feeling hard done by, with their leadership role completely gone, replaced by a large, chitinous insect who spent their entire life since birth waiting to be given the chance to rule a small part of the Harchan polity union. It was this resentment which has caused It was this resentment which had caused the Zilpig to prefer completely monopolizing new species trade networks, extracting raw materials in exchange for advanced technology and permanent shipping contracts. Azek thought it far better to allow species to handle their own political affairs, as long as whoever was willing to sign trade deals with the Zilpig Trade Council. Azek thought it far better to allow species to handle their own political affairs, as long as whoever won was willing to sign trade deals with the Zilpig Trade Council. It was a shame this world had been claimed in the quorum of spacefaring species before the Zilpig had found out about it, as it was nicely placed to form part of a new trade route, and the Zilpig's brand of soft power would be far less of a shock to adjust to than the Harchan's wholesale seizure of power. As he mused, he noticed that his scanner's officer was staring at his screen in slight bemusement, his long twin tail flicking slightly up and down in confusion. "What's the problem, Sil? A mining drone in our transit path?"
No, I trader. Quite the opposite. There's nothing in the asteroid belt at all. Not even a scout ship, nor a base.
Azek's tongue darted out as he went over what he'd been told. This normally would mean the Harchan were still trying to secure the world, as normally at least a patrol of Harchan interceptors would be in the outer limits of the This normally would mean that the Harchan were still trying to secure the world, as normally at least a patrol of Harchan interceptors would be in the outer limits of the habitable and useful. This normally would mean that the Harchan were still trying to secure the world, as normally at least a patrol of Harchan interceptors would be in the outer limits of the habitable and useful worlds to prevent rogue miners taking advantage of the chaos caused by the takeover. If the Harchan were so caught up, it might be worth leaving a drone here to mine for a bit, and pick it up on his outward journey. Flicking his eyes to moisten them, he turned to his sensors officer. No sense in stealing from the somewhat touchy Harchan if they were currently looking at it. Focus arrays on the habitable planet. Nearest Harchan mothership should give us answers, and put us in contact with the annexation commander, so we can find out what's happening here.
Yes, High Trader.
Sil paused as he adjusted the focus.
2 returns, matching mothership designation, geosynchronous polar orbit.
And 2... Azek's tail lashed angrily. "Sil, you have operated sensors on my ship since my first run. Please tell me you're not allowing a lump of dirt and rock to mask the other 4.
No, Azek. I know my job,"
Sil snapped back, his frill bright and blue, flushed with blood.
"There are only 2 active mothership signals. No worldwide coverage of a Harchan communication network."
Azek inhaled deeply and fluttered his frill in apology. "Start recording and tell engineering to prepare a salvation pod. We need to know what happened here, and if the Harchan decide they don't want us to, we'll need to send it to the Trade Council quickly." Sil returned to his seat, and Azek pondered. Nope. Kill the spammer, kill the spammer, kill the spammer, do. Boom. There we go. Spammer's been killed. Wrong one. That's the one we want. Sil returned to his seat, and Azek pondered just what he'd been told. Normally, the Harchan set up a global, uninterrupted network, with 6 motherships, 2 at the poles and 4 interspaced around the middle of the planet. The theory went that all ships could see each other without sensors, and mutually support each other. It was overkill for a non-spacefaring world, but essential if a discovered species had spacefaring capability below the entrance requirements to the quorum. For 4 to be missing was a sign something had gone badly wrong. The Endeavor slipped past the 4th planet, and suddenly the command deck was alive with alarms.
Ah, 6 hot chan interceptors.
I'm just gonna keep reading that as Sill.
6 hot chan interceptors. Weapons hot, incoming. Hailing beam is locked on. They know we're here. I received.
With your spear and magic helmet. That is, in fact, what I am referring to. Kill the wabbit, kill the wabbit, kill the wabbit, dun dun dun. Kill the wabbit? No.
6 hard chan interceptors. Weapons hot, incoming. The hailing beam has locked on. They know we're here. I've received a message, coded last chance, putting it through to your headset.
Azek nodded, pulled on his golden headset, and gulped as a gravelly deep voice that could only belong to an angry bug twice the width of him came through. It is a great one. Azek nodded, pulled on his gilded headset, and gulped as a gravelly, deep voice that could only belong to an angry bug twice the width of him came through.
Zilpic trader, you will power down fully and prepare slave commands to my wing. Failure to comply will be taken as an act of hostility.
Yeah, that tells you my voice is running out of steam. Fortunately, the chapter is just about done here. No, that was wrong. I went for the wrong voice.
Zilpic trader, you will power down fully and prepare slave commands to my wing. Failure to comply will be taken as an act of...
I keep saying oct! Why do I keep saying oct?
Zilpic trader, you will power down fully and prepare slave commands to my wing. Failure to comply will be taken as an act of...
Keep saying oct? Why do I keep saying oct? That's not my accent. That's not the accent of the, of these guys. Your mama was a snow thrower.
Zilpic trader, you will power down fully and prepare slave commands to my wing. Failure to comply will be taken as an act of hostility in breach of quorum espionage law.
I did it! Hooray! Azek gestured with his tails, signaling Syl to order the launch of the pod with all sensor data before beaming a response. Of course, Wing Commander. I assure you, we are merely here for trade. Why? Is something wrong? Despite how outgunned he was, Azek felt a slight sense of satisfaction at the frustrated grunt he heard briefly, before the communication beam shut off. Time to find out what was going on. That's from Short Circuit. I don't know what is from Short Circuit. Oh. Anyway, it is now just after midnight. So we'll be wrapping things up shortly. Probably just to do the audio editing, effect, noise reduction, get noise profile, effect, noise reduction, apply noise reduction. Delete, save as 01CL. Select all, effect, compressor. When Johnny Five is insulting the other robots, I think. Ah, okay. Toss in the limiter, cool, save, export. That is Troublemakers. We definitely don't want Troublemakers. We want 4th Gen Warfare, 4th Gen Chapter 1. Save. Hey, Laser Lips! Oh, and we are not recording, so we can get rid of that. Woo! Alright, I guess... Save that. Let's get our snipping tool and let's get to work. Alt WF. These are going to be mildly annoying, it seems. We'll survive. Gen Warfare, 4th Gen Chapter 1. Thing 1, Pacified Heart-Chan Polity. Go. 2. Hey, some good lines in that old movie. Yeah, I don't think I've seen it. Don't think I've seen Johnny Five. It's 2. We saved it. Good. Heart-Chan Polity Union. Boom. Delete that. Hey, the end is literally in sight. Shorter paragraph, that's fine. Number 3. A scout ship or a base. Save 4. F new 5. And that should be number 6. Yes, and we'll be done. How fitting. The first line is 6, and this is king number 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. That is, well, not strictly done, but probably close to it. Alright, new narration. This time to get us a new folder. 4th Generation Warfare. And select folder. 4th Gen 01. Okay, open. Small. Gen. Oh no. Oh no, I cannot call it 4th Gen. I'm gonna have to call it. Gonna have to give it another name. I'm gonna actually have to spell out 4th Gen because it's messing the. It's Short Circuit. Steve Guttenberg and Ally Sheedy are the big names, but other characters you would likely remember from other old movies. I honestly don't know either Steve Guttenberg or Ally Sheedy. Or Ally Sheedy? Ally Sheedy? Yeah. Yeah, Ally Sheedy. Yeah, I don't know either of those. To be fair, I'm not really big on knowing actors' names, so... Yeah, there is that. Okay, and let's go ahead and say... Right. That's what I'm missing. One, two, three, four, five, six. Perfect. All. Yeah, that's an annoying Windows bug, but you gotta select them from the back. It's an old one, about 1985. Okay, well, older than me. Oh, save home. Alright. Let's start dropping some size and positions. Scale everything down to 90%. 90. 90. 90. And 90. Okay. Home. Let's get the earbuds back in. Do do do. You zoom in. It's good enough, I figure. Let's fast forward.
The Zilpic Runner, glorious endeavor's envelope of real space unfolded around it. Now traveling at speed. The Zilpic Runner, glorious endeavor's
The Zilpic Runner, glorious endeavor's envelope of real space The Zilpic Runner, glorious endeavor's envelope of
space unfolded around it. Now traveling at speeds where the relativistic effects of slipstream travel would not seriously damage the ship. High Trader Isaac ran his claws underneath his frill as he checked the report from his ship's tender, pleased to see that all his cargo hadn't suffered from exceptionally rare but frustrating temporal anomalies. The only negative mark on the transit was a member of the crew with a small embolism, now in medbay, who had served on the Endeavor long enough to know better than to exit his transit seat before deceleration had finished. It was in Zilpic nature to be competitive, but Isaac never understood why trying to be the first back to work after a transit lockdown was popular, especially as this was a run suitable for a fresh graduate of the College of Trade.
Supply run to what should be a recently pacified Harchan polity. It had been 4
roughly 75 Earth days, since the Harchan had entered the system, declaring their arrival and intentions publicly, both to the planet's inhabitants and the wider spacefaring community, as was required by interspacefaring species law. By now, the native art and literature should be completely supplanted by Harchan culture, with a few touchstones the Harchan approved of, and progress on mining the extensive asteroid belt between the 4th planet and the first gas giant of the system should just be about to start. A delivery of high-yield mining drones, highly adjustable breathing apparatus, and an offer of an export contract should be a nice way to round off the season's trade, and also add a nice diplomatic exchange bump to the bonus that the Zilpic High Council would approve, based on how the Endeavor's trading had gone. True, there might still be a few protest movements, especially at the more tyrannical impositions the Harchan tended to use, but the vastly improved medical care, upgraded industrial capacity, and improved communications to near light speed should have pacified even the most truculent native. Only a few of the former world's elite ruling class would be feeling hard done by, with their leadership role completely gone, replaced by a large, chitinous insect, who spent their entire life since birth waiting to be given the chance to
a small part of the Harchan polity union. It was this resentment
which had caused the Zilpic to prefer completely monopolizing new species trade networks, extracting raw materials in exchange for advanced technology and permanent shipping contracts. Isaac thought it far better to allow species to handle their own political affairs, as long as whoever won was willing to sign trade deals with the Zilpic Trade Council. It was a shame this world had been claimed in the quorum of spacefaring species before the Zilpic had found out about it, as it was nicely placed to form part of a new trade route, and the Zilpic's brand of soft power would be far less of a shock to adjust to than the Harchan's wholesale seizure of power. As he mused, his noticed that his scanners officer was staring at his screen in slight amusement, his long twin tail flicking slightly up and down in confusion. What's the problem, Sil? A mining drone in our transit path?
No, High Trader. Quite the opposite. There's nothing in the asteroid at all. Not even a scout ship, nor a base.
Isaac's tongue darted out as he went over what he'd been told. This normally would mean that the Harchan were still trying to secure the world, as normally at least a patrol of Harchan interceptors would be in the outer limits of the habitable and useful worlds to prevent rogue miners taking advantage of the chaos caused by the takeover. If the Harchan were so caught up, it might be worth leaving the drone here to mine for a bit, then pick it up on his outward journey. Licking his eyes to moisten them, he turned to his sensors officer. No sense in stealing from the somewhat touchy Harchan if they were currently looking at him. Focus arrays on the habitable planet. Nearest Harchan mothership should give us answers, and put us in contact with the annexation commander, so we can find out what's happening here.
Yes, High Trader.
Sil paused as he adjusted the focus.
2 returns, matching mothership designation, geosynchronous polar orbit.
2? Isaac's tail lashed angrily. Sil, you have operated sensors on my ship since my first run.
Please tell me you're not allowing a lump of dirt and rock to mask the other 4.
No, Isaac. I know my job.
Sil snapped back, his frill bright and blue, flushed with blood.
There are only 2 active mothership signals. No worldwide coverage of a Harchan communication network.
Isaac inhaled deeply and fluttered his frill in apology. Start recording and tell engineering to prepare a salvation pod. We need to know what happened here, and if the Harchan decide they don't want us to, we'll need to send it to the Trade Council quickly. Sil returned to his seat, and Isaac pondered just what he'd been told. Normally, the Harchan set up a global, uninterrupted network, with 6 motherships, 2 at the poles and 4 interspaced around
and set up a global, uninterrupted network with 6 motherships, 2 at the poles,
based around the middle of the planet. The theory went that all ships could see each other without sensors and mutually support each other. It was overkill for a non-spacefaring world, but essential if a discovered species had spacefaring capability below the entrance requirements to the quorum. For 4 to be missing was a sign something had gone badly wrong. The Endeavor slipped past the 4th planet, and suddenly the command deck was locked.
arms.
6 Archaean interceptors. Weapons hot. Incoming. The hailing beam is locked on, and they know we're here. I've received a message. Coded last chance. Putting it through to your headset.
Azek nodded, pulled on his gilded headset, and gulped as a gravelly, deep voice that could only belong to an angry bug twice the width of him came through.
Zilpic traitor, you will power down fully and prepare slave commands to my wing. Failure to comply will be taken as an act of hostility in breach of quorum espionage law.
Azek gestured with his tails, signaling Syl to order the launch of the pod with all sensor data before beaming a response. Of course, Wing Commander. I assure you, we are merely here for trade. Why? Is something wrong? Despite how outgunned he was, Azek felt a slight sense of satisfaction at the frustrated grunt he heard briefly before the communication beam shut off. Time to find out what was going on.
There we go. Save, export. 4th generational warfare, 4th gen, boom! That should only take a few minutes to render. However, it is 12:17 a.m. I do have work in the morning, so I will be wrapping up the stream here. Thank you, James. Thank you, Joseph, both of you for hanging out for a bit. Much appreciated. And that's going to get down. 5 minutes left on that guy. Yeah, this is good. This is fun. Thank you. We also had NWise stop by earlier, so thank you, NWise, for hanging out. Although I can always catch him on Discord and say hi. Cool. Like I said, James, thank you for chilling here with me. That's it for the stream. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.